Hey, we're joining Dawn Feely today. She declared this week as GI-Free Fun Week. And so today is Monday. And so Donald and I, we want to show you just some ways to stay active, because that's the topic today. Ways to stay active, to stay fit during this coronavirus. So we want to show you an exercise that you can do anywhere, any place, and it's hard, but it's so good. It's called CrossFit burpees. Now what I want to do is I'm going to demonstrate 5 of them, and then I'll have Donald do some, and I'll give you some further instruction. So basically, you're going down into a burpee position, all the way down to a push-up. So there's 5 of them. Now, Donald's going to do some while I give you some further instruction. You know, if you can't do 5 of them, well, maybe you could just start off with 3, maybe 4. Try to work up to doing 3 sets of 10 repetitions. Great way to stay fit. You can throw them in any sort of workout you've got. Let's see how Donald's doing. Okay, he's making progress. How about while he continues to work on his burpee, let you and I go do a devotion. GI-Free Fun Week, we are replacing our Sniblet questions with the activities. And we'll get back, see how Donald's doing here in a little bit. This is week 8. What we're going to do this week, we're going back to the book of Genesis, looking at life lessons from the character of Joseph. Not Joseph, the father of Jesus, Joseph, but Joseph, the son of Jacob, Joseph. Now, the amount of information that we're going to cover, there's no way we can read verse by verse. When you look at Old Testament story, there's a big story, but then there's a bunch of small stories. So when you look at Joseph's story, there's a lot of little stories. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down those little stories. Today, we're going to look at chapter 37, verses 1 through 11. Now, rather than me read 37, 1 through 11, here's an idea. Why don't you stop the recording, read it as a family, chapter 37 of the book of Genesis, verses 1 through 11. So stop, read it, and then what we'll do is we'll dialogue about it. You've read the story. Jacob has 2 wives, Rachel and Leah. 2 sons by Rachel, 10 sons by Leah. Rachel is his favorite wife. The 2 sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph is his favorite son. Lots of dysfunction here. You got a favorite wife? Well, you got multiple wives. You've got a favorite wife. You've got a favorite son. Joseph is his favorite son and gets a multicolored coat to kind of demonstrate this. You know, what you get in this is, as dysfunctional it is, God orchestrates his story through imperfect, sin-scarred people. He does the same thing today as well. So here's the story. Jacob makes a fancy coat for Joseph. He's 17 years of age. Well, 10 of his brothers, the sons of Leah brothers, hated him for it. They didn't even speak kindly to him. So then, to top that off, Joseph has a dream. He thinks it's fitting to tell his dream to his brothers. The gist of the dream, all the brothers will bow down to him. It didn't go over well. Well, he even has another dream, and he reports this dream to them as well. In both dreams, the brothers are bowing down to him. So in verse 5, it says, they hated him even more. Verse 8, it says, again, they hated him even more. Then if that's not enough, Joseph has a third dream, where once again, everyone in the family bows down to him. In fact, he includes his father and his mother. The sun and the moon and the 11 stars bow down to him. This time, Jacob, his father, steps in and rebukes him. He says, you need to keep your fantasies under wraps. This is headed nowhere fast. Allow me to read just verse 11. It says, and his brothers were jealous of him. But his father kept the saying in mind. Here's the principle. What starts in anger, if it's not dealt with, well, it'll lead to hate. And these brothers were angry, but then they hated. And hate, unaddressed, will eventually lead to jealousy. You know what jealousy is? Jealousy is envying what someone else's advantages are. You have envy for another person's advantages. Joseph had advantage they didn't have, and they envied that in him, and they were jealous. And jealousy, what it does is it pushes us to the place where you want to eliminate someone else's advantages. Question, all of us have been there. Have you ever been jealous? What were the circumstances? What got you there? Chances are by the time you got to the place of jealousy, you were too far along to go back. Because the process is anger, hate, jealousy. It's much easier to stop the process the earlier you are in the process. Once you get to the place of jealousy, you're so far gone. You want the advantage that this other person has, and you will do anything to get it. So dialogue. What were you jealous of? Who were you jealous of? And what would it have looked like had you stopped the jealousy at the point of dealing with your anger before it turned to hate, before it turned to jealousy? Remember, jealousy is, well, you didn't get an advantage that someone else got, and it drives you nuts. It's a horrible place to be. Well, let's go check on Donald. Have a great Monday, and we will see you tomorrow.